Hi there, once again, it's just Jane V, and we're about to finish our LDM or Learning Delivery Modalities 1 course because, as you can see, we are already on our walkthrough of our Module 7A for School Heads entitled Building My LDM Implementation Portfolio. Okay, so as it is said here, after finishing all the modules on preparing and planning for implementation of the learning delivery modalities in your school, you are now ready to carry out the activities that will lead you to the smooth and successful implementation of the LDMs in your school. Of course, because August 24 is up and about, okay, in just a few weeks, 2 weeks, we're about to open our school year 2020-2021. So this module, you will plan, so in this module, you will plan on how you will capture evidence of implementation of those activities, which you will organize into a portfolio. This portfolio of those activities will be submitted to your designated coach for evaluation by the end of the year. You may also use this portfolio as part of your means of verifications for your performance evaluation for 2020. For the remainder of the school year, January to April 2021, NEAP will issue guidance on portfolio building, which you can apply to your performance evaluation for 2021. So see how important your LDM1 course is about because it primarily builds up your performance for the year. Okay, so for this module, we have the following objective. By the end of this session, you will be able to build an LDM implementation portfolio as evidence of professional practice that meets, of course, professional standards. Okay, so let's start. What are the, okay, wait lang. What are the module content? Okay, we have lesson 1, LDM implementation portfolio, and then lab session 13. For lesson 2, we have the LDM implementation portfolio evaluation rubric and your lab session 14. Okay, I believe that is your last LAC session. Okay, optional activity is maybe determined by the LAC members under the guidance of the LAC leader is also feasible if necessary. Okay, for you to finish this module, you are required with a time allotment of 4 hours. So let's start with LDM1, which is the portfolio. This lesson introduces you to the LDM implementation portfolio, and by the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe what portfolio is and identify the contents of your LDM implementation portfolio for August to December of 2020. The key topics are, of course, portfolio and LDM implementation portfolio. The resources required are portfolio checklist, reading on portfolios, LDM implementation evidence list template, your readiness assessment tool captured from module 3, your school LDM implementation plan captured from module 4, your TA coaching plan from module 5A, and your LDM implementation M&E plan, which is captured from module 6A. And of course, your study notebook. Okay, so as we start with your activity 1, you are to begin to understand what portfolio is about. So you need to make sure you have completed all the outputs for modules 1 to 6. And these shall cover your pre-implementation phase of your LDMs. So what you're going to do with activity 1 is just to open the portfolio checklist, which is also termed as the pre-implementation phase file, and go over the checklist and ascertain that you have all the outputs required per module. You have to submit all those outputs to your designated coach for evaluation. And do not forget to, of course, file your personal copy of your outputs as your own records. Okay? So this is how the checklist looks like. It is a summary of required outputs for school heads for your LDM1 course or LDM course 1. Okay, so as listed in the first column are the titles of the module, and then the outputs that you need, no, to submit for the following modules, and then the required output. You can see here for course 1, you have the learning plan, the lesson 1, activity 1, module question output, lesson 1, activity 1, module question 2 output, and so on and so forth, until you're able to have all these outputs prepared and submitted to your LAC leaders. Okay. All right. And then those are just your checklist. And then for activity 2, you have to study, of course, what portfolio is about, and you have to reflect on the questions and provide your answers in your study notebook. Study notebook also form part of your portfolio. How will the portfolio help me in tracking the progress of my school's implementation of the chosen LDMs? What evidence or tools from the previous modules can I use to capture the progress of my implementation? Reflection is an integral part of the portfolio. Why is writing down my reflections important? So by reading the portfolio or the lecture about portfolio, you can now answer the following questions. And of course, write down your answers in your study notebook. Okay, so this is the readings about portfolio, which is also included in the link provided to you by NEAP. And of course, you can also secure a copy from the URL, okay, because this is based, or the source is coming from the Glossary of Education Reform. You can find it in this website. Okay. And then you are now ready to proceed to your activity 3, wherein you are tasked to open the LDM Implementation Evidence List template file and create your own list of evidence. In building your list, you have to refer to your different outputs like the readiness assessment tool from module 3, your implementation plan from module 4, your TA and coaching plan from module 5, and your LDM implementation M&E plan from module 6. Okay? And then this is now what your LDM implementation evidence list looks like. So to build your evidence list, refer to the readiness assessment tool, LDM implementation plan, TA and coaching plan, and of course your M&E plan. So if you still remember, our areas of concern does not change, wherein we have the learning resource management, the learning management, the teacher capacity, the household community capacity, and the school operations. And then in here, you have the means of verification. Like say, for example, under learning resources management, you have to reflect on this question. What are your insights in this area of concern? How does your experience help you develop your competencies aligned to your professional standards? So when are you going to gather the evidence for the learning resources management? Same with other areas. Okay, you have to consider your evidence list, and when you're able to gather the evidence, and you can put them here. And if you need to provide another sheet, if necessary, for this evidence list, then you may do so. Okay, and then after doing so, you can now proceed to activity 4, which is the conduct of your LAC session 13. And in your LAC session, you have to do the following. You have to discuss the answers to the questions in activity 2, as well as your output for activity 3. Then finalize release of evidence based on the discussion. And then schedule LAC session 14, which you will hold at the end of lesson 2. Well done, you have completed lesson 1. You will now proceed to lesson 2. And this is your lesson 2, which is the LDM Implementation Portfolio Evaluation Rubric. Note that in this LDM1 course, you will receive a certification coming from your region or the NEAP region. And it is certifying that you're able to accomplish or complete this course. And this will also graded as well. So there's an evaluation rubric that will help your LAC leaders and your coach to assess how well or how best to perform in this course. Okay? This lesson presents the criteria and indicators for evaluating your portfolio. So by the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the criteria and corresponding indicators comprising the LDM Implementation Portfolio Evaluation Rubric. Then enumerate action steps to make your portfolio responsive to the rubric. For our key topic, of course, we have the LDM Implementation Portfolio Evaluation Rubric. And what are the resources required? The LDM Implementation Portfolio Evaluation Rubric, and of course, your study notebook. And so for your activity 1, you have to open the LDM Implementation Portfolio Evaluation Rubric file. You have to study the criteria and indicators. And in your notebook, you have to jot down your thoughts about the rubric. Make a list of action steps to ensure that you're able to meet all the criteria in the rubric. This is some sort of annotation or justification that you're able to do your tasks and responsibilities in answering this course. Okay. And so this is the evaluation rubric for the LDM Implementation Portfolio for school heads, because we have other naman for supervisors. So what are the criteria? We have the rubrics: excellent is 5, very satisfactory is 4, satisfactory is 3, marginal is 2, and unsatisfactory is 1. Okay. So what are the criteria? We have demonstration of progress of LDM implementation, garners 30%, quality of reflection, 25%, demonstration of professional standards, that is 20%, language, okay, language is, wait, overall presentation of the output is 15%. Organization of portfolio is 5%. Timeliness is 5%. I think language is 5% as well. Let me see. Yes. Language and overall presentation of the output is 15%. So that's totaled for 100%. Okay. So this is how you are going to be graded, or your portfolio to be graded. And then we proceed to activity 2, which is the conduct of LAC session 14. In this LAC session, you discuss and share your thoughts on the rubric and your list of planned action steps. So you have to revise your list based on the discussion if necessary. As a final reminder, make sure that you're able to collect the evidence of your LDM implementation as you have listed and organize this into a portfolio. Submit your portfolio in December 2020 to your designated coach through your LAC leader, who will announce the specific date and manner of submission. Congratulations, you have completed the LDM1 course. Good luck on your LDM implementation. So that is the walkthrough for Module 7. You are now able to complete understanding of Modules 1 to 7 of your Learning Delivery Modalities Course 1. Thank you, congratulations, and God bless us all.